Hello everyone, and welcome to this unit introduction for SithCop 004, Prepare Menus for Special Dietary Requirements. Well, firstly, welcome to the unit again, and this little video is just a little introduction into how we use the unit, how the unit's going to be structured this term, as well as a little outline of the assessment tasks. Now, this is just a small revision of a small outline of the assessment task. We'll go through each one with a lot more detail as we're doing the units and as we're doing our webinars as well every week. This small video is going to cover a small unit introduction, the assessment task overviews, and a little bit looking at the unit outline. We'll just have a look at the unit outline first. Now, this is the official blurb that comes in the training package, but it describes the performance outcomes, skills and knowledge required to develop menus and meal plans for people who have special dietary needs for health, lifestyle and cultural reasons. It requires the ability to identify the dietary requirements of customers, develop special menus, meal plans to meet those requirements, cost the menus, and to monitor and evaluate the success of the menu's performance. Now, the way we're going to teach that is by breaking it into 3 modules. Module 1 will be the menu planning stage, where we'll come up with our dishes, make sure that it's nice and balanced and seasoned. Then Module 2 is going to be making sure those menus are financially viable. And then finally in Module 3, we'll be taking a lot of what we've done, creating a cyclic menu, as well as evaluating the performance of those menus over a long period of time. On successful completion of this unit, you should be able to identify the cultural menu requirements of customers, develop menus and meal plans for these special diets, cost and document special menus and meal plans, and then monitor those meal plans finally. Each module is tied to its own assessment. Assessment Task 1 is developing the meals. Assessment Task 2 will then be costing them. And Assessment Task 3 will revolve around the cyclic menu. In a little bit more detail, this is going to require you to develop and evaluate 6 menus that meet at least 6 different dietary requirements. 3 of these menus are going to be based on faith-based diets, and 3 of them are going to be health-based diets. Now, these 3 you can choose yourself. I would suggest using them in a sort of choosing ones that are going to be useful to you in your career or where you're working at the moment, so that it'll be much easier to do these assessments if you're doing them in the context of where you're working. As part of this, you are going to need to reflect on some very suitable meals and cookery methods for each one of these particular diets. You need to research some modern contemporary cafe and restaurant menus to understand the current eating trends and regimes of different diets. If you are going to take food menus from somewhere else, I need you to reference those as well. Each menu needs to be written creatively using the correct culinary terminology, and they must demonstrate the basic principles of nutrition. And all your entrees must have 1 main, 1 accompaniment, 1 appropriate sauce, which we'll go through a lot more in week 1. The evaluation. So once you've got a draft menu, you're going to have that menu evaluated by myself, your peers, as well as we're going to have an industry professional dietitian come in and have a look at these menus. Once you've received that feedback on your menus, that evaluation, you can then document that and then use it to reflect and create your final menu. And that will be the end of Assessment Task 1. In Assessment Task 2, it's going to be time to cost those menus. This is obviously very similar to plan and cost menus, which you've done before. And with costing each menu, you need to make sure you calculate accurately the expenditure to complete these dishes. And we're going to do it in a sense of costing it to make 100 portions. And I'll talk about that in next week. We must make sure we work out selling prices and then always add our 10% GST. For each menu, you'll need to do 1 yield test. You'll labour cost each menu, and you'll work out the operational cost for each menu. Assessment Task 3 is developing the cyclic menu. and it's broken into 2 tasks. Task 1 is developing the menu, and Task 2 is discussing the profile and requirements of different customer groups that the cyclic menu can be used for. This is just a quick template of what the cyclic menu can look like. Obviously we're doing it over 5 days, and it's going to be for a nursing home. We'll look at a lot more detail of this when we get to module 3. You need to identify and discuss 3 methods of cookery that you're going to use in it, and then you'll submit your draft of your cyclic menu to an allied health professional, dietitian, medical specialist, or nutritionist. And now obviously we're going to have Marissa, who's going to be working through us with this whole time, and she is obviously going to be there to give you that feedback that you need when you need it. So, just to recap this video, we've just looked at the unit introduction, the structure, as well as the assessment requirements. Throughout the next couple of weeks, there is going to be a little bit of out-of-class content you're going to need to do. Particularly in the next few weeks, you want to start looking at revising your menu costing procedures that you did in Plan and Cost menus, revising a lot of the knowledge that you would have built when preparing food for special dietary requirements, start looking at some contemporary menus, and start revising that healthy eating guide from the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating, which is available in the resources area. Thank you very much, guys, and as always, if you've got any questions, please feel free to leave them in the discussion area, where I can answer them within sort of 24 hours, anytime you do it. Alright guys, thank you and good luck.